Looks like they decided to make a movie at the beginning of Monday Night Raw. That's right, guys. I caught the Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins segment at the beginning of Raw. We'll get to that in just a second. As always, partner of the channel, W Energy. Look at the bottom of the screen, w.gg. Use code JobberSteve10 at checkout. You'll get yourself a good energy drink that doesn't give you any of the crashes or the jitters. Back to the show. So the show opens with Cody Rhodes coming out right at the beginning of the show. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought that, again, this would be kind of like a main event spot or something like that. Something to do right before the main event. Interesting little tidbit. My mom likes Cody Rhodes better as a blonde. One thing I do want to say is that the crowd was absolutely electric, white hot today. I love San Antonio, Texas. It always seems to be a really good wrestling crowd. It's my dream. I don't live too far from there to go and watch a wrestling show there sometime, whether it be AEW or WWE, or even go just watch an indie show. San Antonio just loves wrestling. I mean, that's, the hometown of Shawn Michaels after all. So Cody, we finally get his explanation on his side of why he decided that he was going to give up his WrestleMania main event to The Rock. And then, what The Rock had told him to convince him to do so. And what basically had happened is that The Rock had said, in no uncertain terms, that Cody Rhodes wasn't what the people wanted at the main event of WrestleMania. The people apparently wanted The Rock versus Roman. And then Cody says, something very peculiar happened once I made that announcement. And then the crowd erupts in these massive "We Want Cody" chants. I mean, it was the loudest "We Want Codys" I've ever heard. I mean, this crowd seems to have been even louder than Glendale, Arizona on SmackDown. It's crazy the kind of atmospheres we're starting to get at these TV shows. It's like it's a pay-per-view or something like that. So by this point, it's pretty established that Cody has the crowd in the palm of his hands. He's getting them to chant "We Want Cody" absolutely raucously just by referencing the chant and stuff like that. And then Cody does something very interesting here. Cody says that Seth Rollins is his friend. So if you keep up with the wrestling journalism and the dirt sheets and all of that, you would know that Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes used to hate each other. At least it seems so. In interviews, Cody would say stuff like, I would never call Seth Rollins my friend, but I have enough respect for him to work with him and draw money. And draw money they did for 3 matches. And then he calls his friend out and he says, Seth, come on out to the ring. And then you hear the whoa. The crowd is just absolutely going crazy while Seth walks out. I do want to reference that he looks like a highlighter here. He's wearing this weird like chartreuse green shirt and pants. And my mom pointed out, and I didn't notice until she did point it out, that the pants were tucked into the back of his boots. Maybe the pants were a little bit too long and he kept on getting the pants caught under his heels. I don't know. Weird wardrobe choice, but that's Seth Rollins for you. So the first thing that Cody does whenever Seth comes out to the ring is he says that I know you have to fight Drew McIntyre and I know you have to focus on that. So if you don't want to go on this battle with the bloodline with me, I totally understand. And that's when Seth Rollins says, yes, I do have that fight with Drew McIntyre and I am focused on that. But the most important thing right now is taking down the bloodline and giving the power that the bloodline has back to the people. Seth at this point says he's actually quite over The Rock, and then you start hearing a whole bunch of Rocky sucks chants. Interesting that I didn't see any Die Rocky Die signs out there tonight. Glad, because they would have just been cutting the feed left and right. Seth does say he doesn't want to call The Rock anymore, and he sits there for a while trying to come up with a name, and then he starts calling him Diarrhea Dwayne, which I think is a reference to the fact that, The Rock keeps on calling people like, crackhead Karens and methhead Mollies or Marys or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock actually came up with that nickname and gave it to Seth and said, hey, reference this in the promo or something like that. And then eventually you start hearing diarrhea chants absolutely loud. It was hilarious. I love it. And then Seth makes fun of The Rock for going off for 21 minutes on Instagram and Twitter, kind of pointing out that it's really childish to be, cutting a promo like that. And then he references that The Rock did say he's a member of the board and he can make the World Heavyweight Championship just go away like that. And that's when Seth says, Rocky, I dare you to try. Next thing Seth Rollins addresses or references is that The Rock said last week that finally, pro wrestling is cool again. And that's when Seth says, Rocky, you haven't been cool in 20 years, pal. And I was like, ooh, and the crowd goes, oh, and they start cheering. And the biggest part of the announcement is that Seth announces that he's 100% cleared for competition and he can go back to wrestling and he's ready to go. The crowd absolutely erupts and cheers. They know that Seth's going to be there. And then Seth says he's going to be there on Friday to confront the bloodline. And he says, Cody, I've had your back all this time. All I want to know is, are you going to have my back whenever I show up? So Cody says, unlike The Rock, He's not going to cry about what's happening on a 20-minute promo on Instagram or Twitter. He's going to be there on Friday to address a bloodline face-to-face, man-to-man. And, we'll know a lot more about what's going to happen at WrestleMania by the end of Friday night. The crowd absolutely cheers, and that's the end of the segment. So what did you think about this segment? Are you excited for what's going on at WrestleMania 40? I'm excited personally. I think this is absolutely cinema. We got a movie on Friday. We got a movie on Monday. As Sam from Not Sam Wrestling said, what do we do here? We make movies. And I think that's a great line to explain, what's going on with WrestleMania and this bloodline storyline and Cody's story. Let me know what your predictions are for the match on night one. Who do you think's going to win that? And who do you think's going to finish their story? Or do you think the story's going to get ended for Cody by Roman? That's it. I'm Jubber Steve. I am out.